Well, that's Matt, I think. Good afternoon. Today is December 12th, 2023. Time is now 1 p.m. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. I will call this meeting of the board to order. You do have cell phones. If you could silence them at this time, I'd appreciate it. And if you would join me for the pledge and
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father God, we thank you for all our blessings and ask you to please bless this meeting of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. Strengthen us with wisdom, patience, kindness, and goodness so that we can solve all the perplexities, problems, and choices that come before us today. We ask for your blessing and love for all our citizens of this great county. Grant us grace to ask what thou would have us to do, and the spirit of wisdom that it may save us from all false choices that we may see light in the darkness as we convene this board and to the service of this county and the county citizens. We ask this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Kelly, could we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Day,
Present.
Commissioner Kanda,
Here.
Commissioner F,
Present.
and clerk to the board of public council.
Okay. And we'll start in the front row with our audience introduction.
Kirk Cover. Matt Erickson. John Van Dorn.
Nadine Peterson,
James Gilbert.
Christine Wright,
Stuart Wright. Bill Parker.
Okay, and if we've got some people online as well. So if anyone goes to speak later, if you could ID yourself for the record, I'd appreciate it. Those that we have online would be Darla Kinney Scholes, Deb Adams, Debbie, Jeff, an SC, and a phone number. Any amendments to the agenda?
No.
No, sir. We have no unfinished business. Our item of new business would be the discussion of the makeup of the finance department. So I guess I would open that up for discussion here.
Okay, I'll start because that was tabled after we had a discussion before with the intent to make a motion to hire a new finance HR or a new finance director. And so we agreed to have this meeting to discuss that and to understand the data. I went off on a data hunt, and I did that with the intent to bring clarity to this office. So, given that, what I did was finish up what I had said before, talking to other counties and got the data from them. And all four are the ones that I picked that had basically the same square miles we did. One was very small in population. That was Hinsdale had 795 people. Fremont County had 48,000. Dolores County had 2,080. Park County had 17,000. Every one of them has a finance director that requires a CPA, an accounting degree. And made a point that there's lots of business degrees, just like there's lots of engineering degrees. And you wouldn't hire a biomedical engineer to be a orbitologist on a satellite program. Different kinds of engineering. So based on that, I did another study, a quick look, and asked Sam. I met with Sam tomorrow, called him up, and asked him what the deadlines were. We have two issues before us. One of them is we do understand the issues that were brought up in the 22 audit by Sam. And that audit is done. It's complete. It's over. We have to fix it, though. The problems that were in it, it caused us to have a finding that was conditional. And so given that, at the same time, 23 is due also coming up. And that is in March. we have two parallel things going on at the same time. We've got to resolve all the issues that Sam brought up. And then we've got to meet the deadline. Guess what the deadline is? The deadline, according to Sam, get the 23 audit in, July the 31st is the first deadline that is significant. If we don't submit it then, the only thing we can ask for is a 2-month delay. That puts us at the end of September. And that's the deadline that is a drop dead thing, because if we don't satisfy the issues that we found in 22 and apply them to 23, then that lays it open. And I asked Sam, what happens? Well, he says the state can withhold our tax money, which means they will only release it in dribbles as it goes along on what we say is a priority, like a very urgent road thing. And so they're going to prioritize it and tell us what we can and can't do, basically. Hold our budget hostage until the audit's finished and we get it corrected. So he asked, I asked him a couple things. There's two pieces to it. He says there's an adjusted post that we're posting it, and then the reconciliation. Let me read what he said. So he says the number one thing that has to occur right away is that the adjustments are posted completely for all the funds that need posting: grants, classification codes, leases, capital outlay, and those kinds of things. 1A of that is to take a look and determine if the adjustments agree with the general ledger. I asked him, how does that happen? The general ledger, he knows. He says, I have the answer. He's got a program that does that, and he compares what we have with it. And then if it is, then fine, we got it. Our leases are coming along. However, we do have an issue with the Indian nation, because there's a lease at the airport that was put into effect many years ago. There's no paper trail on it. And I try to call into them to find out what we can do to rectify that and satisfy that finding. And then the next thing that's critical is to tackle the cash reconciliation and lease accounting. And up to date to now, and Lisa's not here. I wish that she was here, but she hasn't asked for any help yet from Sam, so I don't know what the status of that is. Sam has volunteered to help when possible. But timing is critical. March is coming. That's when it's actually due. We should have it ready to go as soon as we can. So I asked him if he volunteered to help. I can come up and help you. And I said, well, that costs money. What's the rate? He says, well, normally what he's been charging us per year to do our audits has been running $45,000 a year on the average. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's more. He said, of course, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to come because it takes him away from doing other audits. So it's costing him money to do that. So he says it's going to cost more. And so in order to help us a little bit, to get us some help, there's two issues with that. One is he cannot afford to lose his independence, and we can't afford to be looking like we're using him for that reason. So that's a caution. And he cautioned me on that. He can only do so much. But he did say he would. It looks like it would cost, and I asked him to give me an estimate. He said it would be around $90,000 to come up to do that. And he said, but I'll give you a discount because I don't want to lose your business. I want to help the county. And he said, I'll discount it by 20%. So the bottom line would be $72,000 roughly. So that's a data point to use in the discussion that we're going to have. And so in order to make this the way, legally speaking, I think I would propose, and I will make a motion, that we hire a finance director. And that finance director, with the job description that we have, and that it would be, and oh, by the way, I did that look into salaries at the same time. So logically, we got to post a salary legally. And so that range, in order to get somebody in here, is probably in the $80,000 to $90,000 range. And even then, we can't guarantee it would happen. So, in other words, good candidates would apply, but that's what I would move to do, to open discussion up so we can decide how we handle that and where the money comes from. So I'll move to do that now.
Okay, so
I need a second for that.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
So I'll second, so we can have discussion about it. Cause you started with discussion,
Right, all I did,
right?
prime the pump.
And then we didn't get a lot of discussion. yet.
No, but we need to have.
Because we
back
haven't
and forth. I
discussed
need
yet.
to discuss it, because all I did was lay out facts that are the timeline that are real.
So when you say March 1st, that I'm taking it as a goal, not a hard set date.
No, that's when Sam says, that's when, what he points out, that's when the process starts with all the counties. See, we can turn it in early. And we can turn it in later than that. The latest we can turn it in is the 31st of September. If we ask for a 2 month extension.
Right. So in the back of my mind, and I asked Kit Carson and Ouray County, and they try to get their stuff done by March 1st to turn into their auditors.
Right.
And those counties have roughly the same population as ours. They both have county administrators that act somewhat as their financial director. And then they have payroll and AP clerks underneath them. Kit Carson only has 2 leases, period, that they have to deal with. So either they've been buying their stuff outright all along. And I didn't ask Ouray where they were at with the leases, but. So, roughly that 3 people, roughly 2 to 3 people that Sam DiNardo has said that it would take our department, or what he would like to see, or what he suggested to us.
That's, I found out the same thing. Here's the job descriptions for Dolores. Here's the job description for Hinsdale County. Here's the job description for Fremont County. And in Park County, I talked to the chairman. He's in Belize, but he called up the county manager to send me theirs, but he said no, on certain terms, they have to have. And you remember it's Dick Elsner. We saw him on the CCI. And so Sam said the same thing to me. So that points out one thing I think we've agreed to already, because there's 2 people. Is really classically what it is, that it is critical that we have, and I think we've already authorized this, a CPA to come in now to get somebody, because we don't know when this finance manager could come, and so that CPA should be brought in here to start working with this, to do 2 things. One is to help find the problems and solve the problems for 22. And the other one is to bring on board the new finance director, so that they are up to speed on where we are, so that they can take over later on and not create a problem with the next audit down the road. So I think that would be a good thing to do, and I don't know, I didn't get a chance to check in the cost of any of those. I don't know what you found or Kevin had.
I did reach out to Crow, but they have an office in Denver. I've been waiting for them to get back to me. And so I made another call today and left another message for them to give me a call back and see what they would cost just to be, just to consult with us, see where we're at, help us out, get us through the 22 audit, help us. If our goal is March 1st, and that should be our goal, I feel, to go to Sam DiNardo and say, hey, here's our stack of information, we're ready. We're 10 weeks. We don't have a lot of time.
Well, he did say, and when I talked to Sam and some other people, as a matter of fact, one thing we can do to help Lisa and whoever we bring in is to outsource the payroll. You know, I bet if you ask Lisa right now and Jen, what they spend 80% of their time on, it's probably payroll. And another 20% digging into this. I mean, they're busy this time of the year. I mean, especially during this audit problem. So maybe outsourcing the payroll, I don't know, you were gonna look into, I think at one point, we were looking at ADP or something like that. Is that right?
ADP and Paychecks are both within Colorado. Now, what I haven't found is another county that's used and outsourced their payroll yet. Cause I would like that data. I would like to see what.
The only thing I know of is that the school system outsourced it.
Right.
And that's the only thing I've heard. I didn't ask the question either.
And they've been doing that just a short term, I believe.
I don't know. They told me when I talked to the past director. No, it was the medical clinic that had outsourced it to. They had been doing it for like 10 years or more. That was, I can't remember the name now, but yeah, that. I've got that data. But something to consider.
Right. So in those other 4 counties that you talked to, did any of them outsource their payroll?
I didn't ask.
You didn't ask. I'd be
See,
interested.
And I'm telling you, even a county of 795 people, and they all required a 4-year degree in accounting, CPA, a certification. Every one of them.
Okay, so-
that doesn't mean that there's some that don't have
No,
people
they're
that were in.
requiring, accounting
Or
business
equivalent,
administration or something.
With
like
some
that.
equivalent
So
with a
not-
lot of time on.
Not,
Right. So, point is, it's important and we do need 2 people, for sure. How do we pay for that? You know, that was another thing that I got into the middle of too, looking at where we stand with the budget. Right now, we do have the 70K that we've set aside for, and it's still there, for the county manager that we didn't use. And we have also a contingency fund that never has been touched for 118,000. We have a BOCC admin that we currently have that we're paying for. And we are interviewing for possibly a new one, when we need to. And then the HR person that we're gonna make a decision tomorrow with. So if I added it all up and I looked at how we utilize our people, and this is my thought on the discussion point here.
Whoa. HR, we're not making a decision.
No.
Because we still have another interview.
Oh, that's right, we got another interview. I'm sorry, that went on there. That's right.
so.
Good point. But we still need to do that. But it's one that we're pressing down the path of doing. My point is, I think that we can use the people that we have currently here. I think that it's critical to have 2 people versed on the finance role, because look what happened right now. Lisa's not here. It's critical. She's not here. That's the time that we really need her most. Or she could be sick, or the director could be sick. Both of those, she'd need to be trained up. And I think if we get a good qualified person in here to help bring that on, and then bring our current assistant finance director up to speed, assistant to take on, that would be something to grow, a growth factor to grow into for later on. We could also consider using Jen, our assistant currently, as part of the BOCC piece with some HR functions or some that the finance director would have. So those are things we probably ought to think about. How to handle it. I don't know, what else did you consider? What did you find, Kevin?
Well, I was just gonna comment here right now because you have your feelers out to Crow to see if someone could come up and look at our situation and see where we actually stand from someone in that realm currently, correct?
Mhm.
And see what it would take to make sure that we're on the right path.
Who's Crow? What do they do?
They
What do
do
you mean?
consulting for accounting services. Have governmental background, so
Hire, do you know how much they charge?
I don't have a clue yet. But what I didn't want to do is just take Sam DiNardo's offer either because I do want to keep him independent, and he's a salesman as well.
I'd rather spend the 45,000 on Pro.
It might be less, it might be more, we don't know. I think we got a March 1st goal that's coming, and it's coming fast. It's 10 weeks away, roughly. And probably even less than that because of the holidays and how that messes with deadlines. So it's coming fast, it's coming furious, and our accounting system has been dumped with decades worth of audit findings that have not, according to Sam, some of these audit findings have been there for decades. So these have all been dumped onto our current financial department, and they probably be beneficial to us, the county, to get them the help that they need.
Yeah, that brings up
Shape or
another good point, CIC. We got problems with CIC, but I think, other counties use other systems, and I think roughly the cost is roughly the same, I think, I don't know, you've been looking into.
So the two counties that I looked into, Kit Carson and Ray, use Tyler systems, and they, forget which one told, well, it was Kit Carson that told me around $55,000.
And that's roughly what we're paying now.
And that's roughly what we're paying right now.
Trouble is, they've been very non-responsive to us.
And CIC has been down. I don't have the numbers of days they've been down for both, for either the treasurer or the finance department, but they have been down for the assessor. And this is,
Well, they went down for payroll, that right in the middle of us, if we hadn't broken it into two pieces and did a out of cycle check.
Right.
So before they went down, they wouldn't have gotten paid.
correct. So
Payroll.
they're not, we don't get the support out of them that we used to. We know there's been a change in demand there with their organization, so. And I do have a call out to Tyler, and they've responded, so it's a sit down and do a demo with them. But I would like to go out to GSA as well, other than I kind of want to see how their pilot programs go with Jefferson County and Pueblo County first. So I don't want to buy the first model year of any car out there, so
Let the bugs get worked out of it.
yeah. But Tyler's been out there, Tyler's working, both O'Ray and Kit Carson's administrators weren't having problems, and in fact, they have a module for the clerk as well, so I don't know if that's something we want to look into, but that's a conversation down the road. But we
I
are,
think we're gonna have to.
right, if whether we, regardless, it's gonna be coming down, the highways.
But meanwhile, we have to fix the 22 audit. And then we have to meet the 23 deadlines.
And we are in the process of fixing the 22 audit. I believe the leases are all almost
Other than that hanger,
completely.
that one hanger
Hanger
lease.
lease is the only thing we're lacking on those. And
Sam did say that to do the rest of that, it's gonna take a lot of time, so.
so, and that's on the list as soon as Lisa gets back here for that. And I think, well, I know you both know my opinion on this. I would like to see what would come about with your conversation with Crow and having someone come and look us over and see exactly where we're at and what we would need to do to help our finance department and to what we need to do to give them the tools to do their job. Because that's what we need to do.
So you're looking at them as somebody to come in here and give us some fix and then not hire a finance director.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Not what I'm saying. That's not what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, we already have a motion that was made 3-4 weeks ago to do this.
Right.
And
To get a
whether
CPA in here
you
to
wanna
help.
say I've been dragging my feet or getting more information, it doesn't matter. It took a while to find an outfit that just does that. It's not an accounting firm that you wanna use their best person during the biggest time that they do taxes is January 1st to April 15th.
And we don't know the price yet either. Right?
No, we don't know the price.
So if it's high, and then we're gonna have to do some quick look then, Lucas.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
then we'll have to see what else is out there.
And
Other
anything-
consulting
Right.
people.
And anybody's gonna be high from January 1st to April 15th. Cause everybody's overbooked. From that time. I mean, just from anybody's own personal taxes, if they use an accountant. This is their busy time of the year.
Well, there's some, we'll have to look for help.
So. I think we may have a hybrid situation here. We go out and we try to find somebody full-time. Because it's not just correcting everything that's happened in the past. It's,
Continuing to keep it going.
we gotta move forward and we need somebody to help us out with it. Are we gonna keep leasing? Or are we gonna start buying? What looks better?
Right, that's what you need a certified public account to tell you. Take an example,
I
and that's
just
why
need
the
somebody that knows
double entry
finances better than I do
government accounting,
in that part.
I agree.
So maybe it's a hybrid situation where we go out and we look for that person, and in the meantime. We find somebody that, hey, what if, so they come in and they're too expensive for. All encompassing, everything included. Well, how about just these things? Just take care of the audit issues for 22, okay? That's
Still
this
gotta
kind of
get
chunk of
23 to
money.
make it though.
Right, but 23. You know, whether it's March 1st or April 1st. We can deal with that. That date can push getting. What we've done for 22. We need to get that fixed. We need to get that rectified.
Well, then you're saying we ought to go ahead and post the position, get feelers out. We don't have to hire them.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we have to put the wage at that wage.
No, but we need to, right, we can have that discussion, but we need to put it where we get somebody to be earnestly looking at it.
Right,
That
because
we can afford.
right, because if anybody wants to come work here. Most people know they're gonna take a cut in pay. Working here compared to working in a big city.
Okay, well, if we post it, what do you think it ought to be? What range? I'm thinking 80 to 90.
And I was thinking more the 60 to 75,000 range.
Right, then we don't get any bites.
Well, if we don't get
We're a little bit further behind.
Any bites in a couple weeks? And this is a bad time to be going out. There's,
Well, we gotta post it logically for a good length of time and make sure it's a wide distribution, so
we just put it till the end of February. It's gonna be posted till then, right? I mean, the end date doesn't matter. As soon as we hire somebody, the posting goes away.
Yeah, we can stop at any time. I think that's a good idea. But I don't know, I think we can afford the 80 to 90 range, because we said we were gonna do that before. And we've got the other money we found since, and we got an HR guy that can be paid for with both, so. We don't have to start off at the high range or mid range, we can start it at 80. That's 5,000 more than what your top end was. So something to think about.
So we talking about posting this without having this,
Well, it's a parallel thing.
having this thing looked at?
We have to have it looked at. We gotta get a guy in.
Well, and it's anymore, we're running out of time to necessarily look at it. To a certain degree, I mean, because we are coming up.
Yeah, hopefully we can find a guy that'll come in and start putting some effort into fixing it.
And I think, so we have collected the leases, so those will be great, because we already have the information.
Do we know we've collected all of them?
Collected.
Do you know that? I don't know.
I mean, we've collected a lot of stuff. We got a stack of information. Kelly had a lot of the leases that we have, a lot of the departments. brought in either
Who's
their,
keeping tally? How do we know? Is it Lisa or is it,
Jim's been keeping all those. I've been reviewing some of those
so
with
do we
her.
know? How are we gonna know we found them all?
What we may, when we go to the audit, more so for right now.
Well, that's what it means, an interaction with Sam right away to keep.
Right, so now that, you know, we knew we were waiting for those hangar leases, so there was no sense going to them until we think
We
we've
got
got
that, yeah.
everything. Now that we all have them all, but the one you've gotta finish negotiating. Now we can go and we can call Sam Denardo, hey, here's the leases, that's number one, that's what we got the qualified audit on. Let's go through these and let's see where we're at.
Yeah.
Right,
And so that information is already compiled for our 23.
yeah, so. Anything that's for 23, we should have collected it at the same time we were collecting 22s, so. Should be the same pile of information. Other than anything that was new to 23, so like. Human Services just got renewed their lease for, and she's already got it. Or it's already been filed to them, so,
Or a loader or
It came in the other day.
so,
well, the sooner we get a certified guy in here, the better it is.
absolutely. So if we can't. We're still working on, and maybe that's why I say that maybe this is a hybrid, maybe we say Sam Denardo. We can't get somebody in, help us with item number 2 that's on the audit. And that's it.
Well. I think we need to go see if we can get somebody first. Let's see what, and consider that. Cause if he comes up here. Unless there's a way of going down there. And saving him the per diem, he said the per diem is gonna cost.
We can go down there. I don't see that as being a problem.
Can ask him,
It'd be better for us to go down than.
but we gotta be careful.
Right, so what things, what things can he help us on, right? So we gotta, kind of 3 options. We have Sam Denardo's offer. We can see what Crow will do for us, and then we can go out and find somebody as well.
Sam was very clear to me that he cannot take a guy and have him work our problem. Meaning, I'll help you. Load it into the system, blah, blah, blah. He'll help take what Lisa's done and bounce it against the answer that he knows he's gotta have in order to get it to balance.
Okay,
In all categories, not just the leases. There's
okay,
more to the story. And that's why the people that know the issues say it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. To do this, because we're doing 2 things at once. Fixing the problem, finding the problem, and then making sure 23 is coming along correctly.
so his $72,000 offer to assist is just to do what he would do and.
Tell you what, I would
It's
suggest,
a regular audit anyway.
no, it's to help fix the problem that we have. It's not in addition to the audit. He's gonna be working the audit in the background. See, he's losing money by taking people offline doing other audits, right? Because that's what he does. But he says he cares enough about us to go ahead and I said, well, how much time is it gonna take? It's gonna be into next year. And that's why he said, I'll discount it 18%, but that's the best he can do. He can't lose money on it.
So the 72 is
Total.
for the 23 audit
No, it's
plus the help, or is
It's-
that just for the help on the
it's
22
to
audit?
come up here and help the whole issue. So that's a good question to ask. What I got out of it was to help us dig out of the hole. And give the advice here on it and keep us so that we can start feeding 23 correctly.
Okay, so Sam Denardo is a real question mark at this point in time to me.
Because we don't know if that's for the
Right.
23 audit plus the help, or if it's only just for the help on the 22.
And I think
So we're really down to 2 options and maybe a combination of those 2 options.
He volunteered to troubleshoot it, and that was it. That's what he told me. To help troubleshoot the tackle the cash reconciliation, but Lisa has to do the job. I mean, he can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so. So if I would like to have you, take a look at it with this, but I think you're right. We need to get the posting out. We need to get somebody considering it. We need to figure out. Wide distribution, take 2 months, whatever, but we gotta, in the meantime, get a CPA in here.
And I would like to ask in what capacity, just so that I know for sure what we're looking at here.
In what capacity?
So we definitely need to have a CPA in here, and I want to say in what capacity? Is that in the capacity to help us through the current situation? Or is that a permanent situation, or what is that?
No, it's not permanent. That would be them helping us right now. Dig out of the hole we're in with 2 issues, the 22 and the 23 both. And then transition that into the new finance director that we hire. To take over the big picture and have our finance department with 2 people handling it.
Haven't said we're hiring a new finance director yet.
No, that's the issue, the motion that's on the floor. And I think we ought to hire them.
You had a thought, sir?
It sounds like you're talking about 3 different things. You're talking about whether to hire a finance director, how you're gonna fix the 22 audit and make sure you don't have the same problems in the 23 audit. And the third thing is, I guess, get some professional advice about what the county should be doing for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and that's
And-
exactly right. And that's how it's
Let him
counted.
finish for a second, please.
So, and I mean, if you're hiring a finance director, that kind of goes hand in hand with the professional advice that I think you're talking about seeking from Crow or whoever. And maybe that's an RFP process where you
No.
send out an RFP to see what kind of proposals you can get from consultants for a kind of a master plan or some idea of where you want to be going forward.
That's not my intent, Dan. That's not the.
I'm just trying to restate.
Okay, it's
for my
not,
own
that's not
benefit.
what I said. It's not what he said. We are already,
Were you done, sir?
I wasn't, yeah, I think I'm done.
you know, the bottom line is the county needs a finance director that is a CPA certified accountant. We've all gotten the data on that. We've had a lot of advice from people professionally. I've done it myself with other people, not the people in the county. And we've had good people. I'm proud of the people that have helped us define the problem. We need that finance director that's certified that can help grow another when the future our HR assistant can become that director, be considered if that director wants to stay on after this one comes and goes. I'm convinced we need the director, and that's the motion I put in place. I want us to go and see if we can hire one. And in parallel, we still need it because you can't bet on that. We can't wait 2 months and put out an RFP and then to have somebody come in and say, well, you need to go get a finance director. We already know we do. So who we need to get in here is somebody to actually start working that is capable of understanding double entry bookkeeping, government bookkeeping and all that is required to help us pass this audit as well as get us on the path past 23. That has to be done. So that's my position. And so that's why I think that, and we don't have, in the end, for some reason, the guy comes in here that we hired, and we can say, well, gee, it was just simple, very simple. Then we don't have to hire the finance director if we decide that's the right thing to do for the county that comes in and puts an application in for us if they take it. If that's the case. I don't think that'll happen.
I would say myself, respectfully disagree that we have decided that we have to do that.
I didn't say we, I said I believe it.
I would respectfully disagree that we have all come to that decision. And I would say I like the idea of getting someone in here to help us figure out what issues we have and what we need to do to move forward and to get the help for our people that we have, and so that we can meet these deadlines for our correcting our 22 audit and for moving forward. What do we need in here for that? If that turns out to be that we need someone else, fine. But until I have that from there, I would say I would not support at this time going out for a certified accountant to run our finance department unless I have to be convinced of that from somewhere else. I would support bringing someone in short term to help us fix our problems. I would be willing to, I would like to see about this pro or something else that needs an RFP to go out. That would be great. So that we have an independent look at what our processes are and what needs to be fixed and changed and how to do that. And then we can move forward from that point. We gotta have, that would give us the valid information that we need. And in the interim, we can get somebody in here short term to help us through this process, because we are working two issues at the same time here, which is a load. But I'm still not willing to go down this other road yet. But that's not entirely up to me either, so.
I got some other thoughts, but Lucas, it's your turn. I'm tired of talking right now. I got another thought.
Kevin, I kind of regret not going out to Crow earlier and getting this information. But well, I won't say but. What I'll say is our finance department has probably they've been given a system that's been broken for quite some time. They've also been given decades of audit findings that have been dumped on them, and yeah, they are doing the best they can, but they deserve to be able to take a vacation when they need to be able to take a vacation, and we still move forward, and that is hard to do with the monumental amount of work that we've dumped on them that they didn't necessarily ask for or didn't even necessarily realize was there until we kind of really put some eyes and focus and with citizens' help put some focus on, wait a minute, we've got some audit findings that we need to address, and we need to address these, not overnight, but we need to put them on our radar and start dealing with these sooner rather than later, because we are at the end of the year, and because 23 is going to come up here pretty soon, and we need to fully understand what that's going to all take, and then we need to jump into the future or into our present time with where we are with GASB and where we're at with accounting principles and where we're at with laws, rules, regulations, and bring Custer County along into the 21st century. So, and I think I can only imagine, and I haven't talked to Sam DiNardo about this specifically, but my guess is, and I'll reach back out to those other counties and see what they paid for audits. But my guess is they're in the $15,000 to $25,000 range instead of the $45,000 to $50,000 range that we've been spending, because we didn't collect the data that we needed to. And it's not just our finance department, it's Custer County as a whole. I'm not pointing fingers at any one employee, it's here. I'm pointing fingers at myself. How do I get it so that our costs are as minimal as possible, especially with auditing and everything that's behind the ball, right? You maintain your vehicle so you don't have huge repairs later on, right? Whether we could consider that with the, any vehicle that we have out there with the county, if we don't do the right maintenance on it, we have huge repair bills later. And that's what we've been doing, is we haven't been doing these maintenance items with our finances until we get to the audit, and then we have huge expense to try to just come up and say, hey, you got problems, need to fix them, and then we don't fix them, and we're in another year. And again, it's on me, but I want to get this fixed. And I want to see that if this position, this accounting specialist or whatever we want to call them that we're going to bring in doesn't really matter to me. Titles never meant much to me. But what that person does to help us rectify our audit issues and then get us clean so that we don't have audit issues. And Sam DiNardo comes in and he's like, man, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. And 2 weeks later, we've got a bill for $15,000 to $20,000. And we're putting in a report to the state before the deadline of July 31st, and we're off their radar. That's kind of my whole, that's where I'd rather be. It's easier to go to the boss ahead of time and say, here, it's all done, and him go, okay, cool, good job. Or maybe doesn't say anything, but that is a whole lot better than being the guy that's behind budget, behind the deadlines.
Let me make a comment now. I'm going to beg to differ with you one more time, Kevin, because in fact, the experts have told us we have a problem. They have identified it. We've been lucky to have experts in the county that are here, some today, and you've got an expert right here. And I know that you tend to tune out, and as people do, and discount that. I think you've turned out too many things and not been listening. I'm going to pass this to Lucas because Lucas doesn't know me the man either. This is my resume. It's my military resume. I was a director at Lockheed Martin with government money and a public, what they used to call program control, your CPAs that they're hired. And it has Raytheon included. I'm going to pass it out here so you understand. And these guys back here are take a look at it. I know what's right too. And I've been the route, and we've been told what the problem is. We need to fix it. And all I'm trying to do today is to make sure that we get a dual path going here to ensure success. I've done it for a living. I've got 30 years experience doing it. Managing the people's money, not my money. It's the people's money, and we stayed out of trouble. Program control or the controls or finance system is critical. And so I believe we've got the information. I think we're on the right path. I think getting a CPA in here now is critical in order to do the work, so not assess it.
So a CPA or an accountant.
Accountant is what I'm.
Or somebody with
that has that expertise, not a medical doctor, a specialist. He's specialized, and that's what these counties hire. The state, that's the requirement. That's our requirement. It's on our job description that we agreed to. So I don't, there's no reason to delay it. The longer we delay it, kicking the can down the path, we're going to ensure failing the next audit. So I think we're on the right track. I think there's no harm in putting out the request. If we decide everything's nirvana and we all of a sudden poof, it's fixed, we don't have to hire them. Then show me how, let's see if that happens. But if not, let's get it working now. In the meantime, we don't want to be paying some expert from out of town. By the way, we've got experts here probably that might help us like they have. It's all been voluntary. They volunteered their time. And these are experts that people pay big dollars to go in and do what they've been done. And that was pointed out to us. I believe them. I'm not being led down the path. I care about the citizens of this county and I care about doing the right thing. And that's how I've always operated. And I'm tired of people calling me a liar. Because I believe in what I'm doing. That's not lying. The facts are here. The counties hire accountants, not people that do the add and subtracting like a checkbook. So that's where we are, and I believe with the dual path is warranted, and I applaud you, Lucas, for taking a look at it. And it's too bad, like we said, I wish we had the CPA in here now. When did we decide to do that? We passed that a month ago, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that.
When? I think about a month ago. So that's where I am. We don't have to be convinced. We are. I am.
Anything else from here?
And then we can, get that process going, and then we can talk about the budget if we want to, whatever.
No, my main concern is the system. And the system needs help. And we got to get through this and financial department. And we got policies, procedures to write. We got to see whether, those two counties, one at least has gone to AP every week to keep the out of cycle checks to a very minimum. And in the meantime, I will definitely look into ADP and paychecks and see what other counties use it and what their pros and cons are. I don't want to learn lessons that other counties have already learned.
Right, when you
So-
come back and we can talk to them.
Right, or if they've got another way of doing it or something else, then I want to learn those, but.
And I'd say I'm not against, I know we all agree and we all know that we have issues. I would like to make sure that we do it. I don't want it to be a knee-jerk reaction. I want it, if we can bring someone in to show us and give us black and white how we need to move forward. And we can address our audit issues and we can get everything put together for our 23. That is what I would like to do, but I believe this motion on the floor at the present time is more of a knee-jerk reaction and without getting the data. And I would like we can bring someone in to help us in the short term to get all this stuff put together. And we can get someone in here to tell us how we need to move forward and what issues we need to fix, policy, procedures, whatever that might be. And move forward is what I would like to see.
What would be your time frame if that doesn't happen? You know what I mean?
If we could get them, someone in here, we need to get someone in here pretty quickly because to your point, we're at the end of the year. So we've got 3 months.
And if that doesn't happen, then what? In the meantime, we've waited again another 3-4 weeks, and I didn't mind waiting 3 weeks because I wanted to gather some more information in the meantime. And
I would not support the motion as it sits on the floor, but I would support a motion to bring someone in temporarily.
we got that.
We got that already, and we already.
We got that. So that's already out there. So if we can do that, that gives us that extra. And that motion, I believe, included being an accountant, correct, to help us.
Accounting or
No, it was
definitely
an
a
accountant.
very,
So if we could do that, if we could get someone in here to help us out in the short term and we could get, someone that's independent. Because we know Sam can't be independent if he comes in and does all that. Then get someone independent in here to address the issues that we have and to show us that way forward. I would support that.
We already are.
And if that includes a new finance director, then I will change my opinion.
Well,
My statement on that. So, and sir, if you felt as though I called you a liar, that was not my intent. I do not believe I have used that term.
no, but other people have that.
Okay.
But I know
To
that,
be clear that I had not and did not intend to.
but, well, we can move forward. We've already agreed, that's past history. We need a CPA in there, that's going on in the background. The motion is to hire, to put a posting out. You can get a people or somebody to apply in the meantime. That's called, two paths that are necessary, given the urgency of the situation, and we've already had the experts verify that independently, different experts, not the same people. And then I've independently done as well, my own research and decisions here, and I believe we got all the information we need. Let's post it.
Anything else at the table? No, sir. Okay, I will open it up for public comment for the motion that's on the floor. We'll start here in the room.
Can you please restate the motion?
Yes. The motion on the floor is to post a job opening for a director of finance. And for the, what was the salary range that we had that been decided?
I think that was part of the motion.
That's part of the motion.
What was your salary range?
I picked 80 to 90.
80 to 90.
For the salary range of $80,000 to $90,000. And it would be an open-ended posting until that job is filled.
Through February anyway, we've got to open it up.
Herb Coker, I have a couple of questions, is that all right?
Public comment is basically what we've got here.
All right,
Yeah, we're not gonna go back and forth with.
first I'll go back to comments I made about this previously. I think it is premature to just go out and hire somebody when you don't know what your organizational problems are. It sounds like what I was hearing today, that all of you together truly don't understand what your financial department should look like. And to me, hiring before you understand that is seriously putting the cart before the horse. I totally agree with comments about bringing in a consultant. I think the county should have an ongoing relationship with an accounting consultant that you can utilize for periodic checks. If you have questions, you've got somebody to go to. You don't need to have somebody sitting there 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, so you can ask those questions. So I think, to get through your current audit issues, which I'm not sure how far you're done, is there a percentage complete on fixing past audit issues? I mean, you got to take care of that. And the only way you're going to take care of that is to bring in a consultant and establish a relationship with a consultant. And in doing that, I would go out and talk to counties like Custer County and say, how do you handle this? Do you use a consultant? Who do you use? Instead of just trying to pick somebody out of a phone book or a friend's relationship, talk to other counties and say, hey, how are you doing this? Because we need somebody to help us basically check our work. That's what you're looking at for an accounting service. Somebody that you have an ongoing relationship with, that you can call and they bill by the hour and they check your work. You don't necessarily have to have this big $70,000 contract where they're gonna come in and do something. You can bill by the hour with a firm like that. So that to me is first and foremost, you know, establish a relationship, get them in here ASAP to fix things. And get that done, because you all are agreeing that we gotta fix the 2022 audit issues and we gotta put that behind us. And if you do that, it clears the path for moving forward, you know? And I outsource payroll tomorrow, if you can do it. I know some of you have questions. When I operated my business, the first thing I did when payroll services was available is I outsourced it, and it was the best decision I ever made. And because to have that done internally is a royal pain in the butt, and you don't need to be doing it. These services do an excellent job. They also incorporate, you know, online time sheets and things like that. It makes it easier for employees. It makes it easier for your management. So I think that's the first thing you should look at. And I would just, you know, I think the salary range for, if you're gonna try to hire somebody, you know, 80 grand. I don't know what the job description requires for experience. You know, somebody out of college in Colorado is, excuse me, probably gonna make 70 grand a year right out of college. How useful is that person gonna be to you when he walks into the door? Not very. So if you're gonna hire somebody with experience, 80 grand is probably the minimum, you know? And, but I honestly don't think they need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Daryl Winham, I agree with what you just said. You can outsource payroll. I've done it myself in my own businesses years ago. Also, you can outsource HR. You can have a $30,000 a year person and outsource to Babel or Bambi, I think there's some other ones. Pay $99 to $199 a month, and they will give you everything you need for HR. You don't need a $70,000, $80,000 a year person sitting there, hoping that they're going to get something that month to come in. That's not wise. Regarding your salary, I agree with Lucas, 65 to 75. 75 might be a little low if you were going to go down that route. Why not make it a $65 to $90,000 opportunity? If they come in and they're not totally qualified, then you put them at $70,000 a year with bonuses. You get this solved, we'll give you a bonus. You get this solved, we'll give you a bonus. And that way we're not strapping somebody to $80,000 to $90,000, which they're going to leave in about 2 years because they're going to get $95,000 somewhere else. That's not a wise way to do things. That's why you get people leaving the county. And that way, then you can save the county some money. You leave room for future hires, and you don't need an HR person sitting there full time. You just don't. Not in today's world.
Thank you.
My name's David. I want to concur with the last two gentlemen that spoke, that the first step should be getting somebody in here to determine what the issues were over the decades of findings. That's kind of concerning that this has been going on for a long time. So bring somebody in, contract them to spend 30 days or whatever it takes to determine what holes are we continuing to fall into. Once you get that done, then you can determine where you, this is for a CFO. This is the job description that was put out. This is $70,000 to $80,000. It ain't gonna happen in this world. I don't think you have an idea what a CFO does, but obviously that pay scale is not even close. In fact, this gentleman just showed me running the average salary is $195. But that's cities too. You know, that's across the board. You're not going to get people to come in here for 65 to 75,000 as a CFO with all of these job descriptions that they have to fulfill, plus the education requirements. I don't think they need it, but that's my opinion. But you bring in a consultant, you bring in somebody on contract, 30-day contract, determine where your problems are and how to solve those. And then the idea of outsourcing payroll, great idea, I think. Outsourcing HR, great idea. Don't continue to load up the individuals that are already working with this with more work and more finger pointing or whatever. They need the support, and the support will come from the contract that you get with somebody who's an expert. Bring them in for a contract, 30 days or 60 days. This needs to be done. We need to get this done. I was kind of concerned about, I don't know, Sam Bernardo, he sounds like he's been involved with Custer County for quite some time, but 45,000 was what he normally charges for an audit. Then he says 90,000 minus 20%. Why double minus 20%? I just don't, that seems unusual almost. It's like, wow, why do we want to throw money at this? What we want to do is find answers, and the answers aren't here yet. So you bring in somebody that has the expertise. You know, accounting changes year by year, as you probably are coming to terms with, and you have to have somebody that's up to date with the accounting. A CFO is not going to come into this county for these wages. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now that you'll waste your time. You can put the posting out, but you're wasting time. You need to deal with step one, and that's to get understanding of where you keep on falling, or where the county keeps on falling into the same audit holes. For decades, there's issues. Obviously, you didn't have the training, and that's another thing, training for the people in the finance department. There won't be a CFO. I don't see a CFO, and I don't see a CPA coming in, because we can't afford it. It's going to be cost overrides, and we're not going to be addressing the needs of the people of the county. So that being said, I do have a question. The airport, talking about leases, the county owns the airport, right? Is that right? All the land around the airport? And the hangars are leased. We lease a hangar or multiple hangars. Is that right? Do we lease hangars out there?
Yes,
Why?
We lease them out. The county owns them.
the county owns them and we're making money.
Owns them. Oh, okay. And then your leases are, you have airplanes and all the hangars and all that. And but yeah, I was just wondering. Also on the airport, is the fuel sold at a loss or a discount?
Profit.
It's sold at a profit. Okay, that's good to know, because I was hearing that it's sold at a loss. So that's like, why would you do that? That's a good, thanks for that. But I thought the Silver West Airport was a private company or private club, because the only people that use it are the people that have on the jet or a plane or whatever. Got one guy flies in the jet, and then we have a lot of people have their prop jobs. I wonder if that's a detriment to the county's finances, is to have the airport established the way it is. As far as, does it break even at least? The airport?
Yes.
We break even? We break even?
More than you,
More than even. We make money at the airport.
but we're not in the business to make money. We're
No,
gonna break even, we're providing, it's a
The
county
question
airport.
was-
But that's a whole
We're getting
different,
into a
we're getting
back-
on another subject.
Okay, we're getting
Okay.
into a back and forth, and
All right.
you
But
need to
I
wrap
could-
it up.
Okay, I concur with these two gentlemen. You're not gonna get a CFO in here for 70, 85, even 100,000. It's gonna be in the upwards of 130,000 realistic, so. But get the first step done first, and I concur with you, sir. That's the first thing. Bring somebody in, the consultant, the contract.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
James.
James Gilbert, several comments. One is, it sounds like your motion is to post a job opening for a job position that's already filled. And that doesn't sound kosher to me. It sounds like you need to create a new position or have a vacancy. But that, I'm not a legal person for HR or anything like that, but I don't think you can post a director of finance when you have a director of finance. But, and again, I'll just say what looks obvious to me from the audit, and the points being worked on, which are observations, many of which are repeat observations through years and decades. During which time, by the way, Bill, with your expertise, they were on those audits and they were never taken care of.
That's right.
But what you need is technical help. So hire a technician, whatever a technician in finance is, an auditor, a bookkeeper, CPA, whatever, and do it by the hour. Get somebody in here to help with the technical aspects, the log stacking of the issues within the audit, which are all pretty technical. You've got to balance the books basically and find out why. The second thing, when you do that for the 22, a lot of those problems should sort of fall out for 23 anyway, because you're doing stuff that wasn't getting done. Now it's getting done for both audits at the same time, I would think. So that can be done on a consultant aspect with whatever level is needed to come in and fix those things. I agree with this gentleman here that you should stay away from Sam Donago. He's your auditor. He doesn't have any real vested interest in making things right. He has vested interest in making things stay the same because he gets paid more. So I would just leave him as your auditor, fix the stuff so his prices come down because he doesn't have to do as much. Or change auditors. At any rate, with all that technical help and whatnot, your critical issues of the upcoming audits should be taken care of. And at that point, your director of finance, working in advice, not direction of the board of commission, can then determine all the strategic aspects that you're talking about. How are we going to fix overall the county and get it working right going on? Are you going to change the computer program? You guys shouldn't be talking about that. The director should be talking about it and telling you what we should do. That's their job. Strategic makeup of the county, this meeting of what should the finance department look like? That's the director's question. So let the director do it. Lastly, the agenda said this was a discussion from the get-go. About 38 seconds in, it became a consideration. So I would submit that the agenda needed to be amended at that point. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else here in the room?
May I repeat?
Nope, you're allowed one.
Okay, I'm allowed one.
Anybody that hasn't spoken yet, you haven't spoken yet, right?
I have not. John Lindor. I did led turnarounds for most of my career in the manufacturing sector. And I think what we're looking at here is a turnaround. Over time, things have gotten out of control. And I think one of the things, longtime student of leadership and organizational development as well, going back to being a military officer 50 years ago and so. One of the things that I observe here is you've currently got about 120 employees, full-time and part-time combined. And when an organization hits somewhere between 150 or 100 and 150, things start to break down. Communication starts to break down. Systems and procedures and processes, often unwritten, that worked when you were smaller, start not to work. And one of the things that I and so I think you need to recognize that you're at an inflection point as an organization. And it's normal. And there's a tendency to assign blame. To start blaming the staff. I know there's a faction within the county that thinks we ought to just burn the whole thing down and start over again. That would be wrong. And there's also factions that are starting to blame commissioners, let's do another recall. For God's sakes, that's the last thing we need. You need to realize that you're at this inflection point. It's normal, and you need to up your game in terms of leadership processes and procedures. One of the things that guiding principles that I developed myself, probably not myself, but a lot of people came to the same conclusion doing turnarounds, is whenever you see a result, good or bad, failed audit, for example, there is a set of processes and policies perfectly designed to deliver that result. And your job is to tease out what has gone wrong, to understand what's gone wrong. You don't understand what's going on right now. That's one of the issues. One of the things I would do starting a turnaround effort is I'd flowchart the whole company from first sales call to product out the door. And that would uncover not only things that were done wrong, but gaps in our processes and controls. Right now, we've got a failed audit. Not our first, but a failed audit. That's a symptom. That's a result. We did it ourselves. There's policies and processes that deliver that with perfect accuracy. And we'll continue to do that if we don't do something about it. But that's just one symptom of where you are right now as an organization at this inflection point. And that one symptom, right now we decided, well, let's go out and hire a CFO. And because that's what that job description is, it's a CFO. Lots of problems with that. We're throwing a very expensive solution at a symptom, and we don't understand the underlying root cause that you have to do. That person, and I would agree, I think it's a six-figure person. That person has probably got a family. That person has probably owns a home. So we're going to entice them to come to little Custer County to take this position. They got to sell a home. They got to take their children out of school. They got to put them in our school system, which is in a little bit of chaos right now. And you would have to expect you want to pay relocation costs. If I'm that person, I'm going to want a 3-year contract.
And you need to wrap it up if you can.
Oh, okay. I'm going to wrap it up. You're going to limit me to 5 minutes.
I'm gonna limit you to 5 minutes.
I was doing so well. Okay. That's I think I'm.
Okay, thank you very much.
Consultant, right here.
It's a consultant.
Yeah,
It sounds like you could find
you can hire for a lot less and straighten some things out.
Anyone else here in the room then? Yes, ma'am.
Christine Wright. So it occurred to me that if the state is requiring the audits, they're also requiring y'all to sign, coercing you to comply with audits to the point where they can hold a hostage a budget of a county, then what laws are they using to do all this? And not to mention that all of the county residents have to pay for this, so I don't know what law they're operating. Or, I guess it's kind of a rhetorical question, but is that lawful? So, I guess the whole premise of this, the money has to come from the county. The state's the one requiring it. Again, it's that like the state is the bully to the counties. And several counties pooling their money could sue the state, could approach the state, whatever, to, you know, this is not the only issue where the state dictates the county spend the county residents' money. Just some questions to ponder. I don't have the answers to all these laws, but I would like to know under what laws they're operating to be able to do all this, to require all this, and to require me to pay for it. What laws are operating? Perhaps there's a county attorney that is on payroll or something I can ask them.
Not that you can ask.
We have a county attorney, he's right there. But you can't ask, we do.
Okay.
So,
It's part of bureaucracy.
thank you very much. Anyone else? Nice try.
I've had probably got one time where it said more.
Uh,
You need to borrow someone's hat.
Yeah,
All right.
or something.
and I'm not seeing anything online at this time, so. We do have a motion on the floor to post. The job announcement for a director of finance for the range of
80 to 90.
80 to 90,000. Those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Nay.
Nay. So I think with that, we need to put an RFP out immediately. Bring somebody in immediately.
And by the way, that motion failed by a 2-to-1 vote.
Whether it's a Crow, whether it's whoever, let's find 2 or 3 people and let's bring somebody in here to get these issues dialed in and help our financial department immediately. That's what we had made a motion for 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. And I regret not going after that sooner.
Just a couple of things. First of all, I want to make clear that I don't think an RFP is legally required. It was just an idea that I had
Okay.
that I thought might help,
I
but
don't
it's
think it
not
is.
legally required.
Well, then I'll
Get find a good one and let's do it.
Okay.
And the second point I'd say is if that's the way you want to go, I think technically it probably falls under this discussion item, that it wouldn't be outside of the realm of the Open Meetings Act for you to consider it, but quite frankly, you probably need to have the RFP in front of you before you approve sending out an RFP, if that makes sense.
So-
I mean.
Well, if we don't need to do an RFP, then let's not do one. I'll just get a couple that we can discuss and we can pick and choose as a board.
I believe that would be a good thing to do, and so we can get somebody in here to address the issues that we have and hopefully lead us forward and to get the tools and the help that our people need to have to move forward. And, that includes training. That was brought up here a while ago. Not just this department, this is the one we're discussing today, but we need that countywide. And, so that will be probably all I'll say on that. I don't want to get off topic here. Any additional items of business here today then?
No.
That will bring us to public comment. everyone has an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. You may speak.
Why don't we do an RFD, a request for volunteers? You've got individuals, this is a retirement community. There are a lot of people that come from a lot of avenues of life. They could probably straighten out some of this at a very nominal cost of the county. Very nominal cost of the taxpayers. You've got an individual that did this for 40-something years or 30 years. I used to go into companies and do acquisitions myself. And we fired a lot of people. That's how we straightened out things. We looked at what worked and we looked at what didn't work and why we were able to buy them. And then we put the structures in place. But you know, if you've got a target, good that you got a target. But then you got to pick the bow up, you got to shoot it. There's a purpose of what's doing that. That takes action and it takes a simple process to get there. You've got to know what the process is before you start hiring somebody and throwing crap at the wall, because that's what you get. And we're throwing a lot of money for no reason. And there are a lot, like I said, there's a lot of individuals with a lot of expertise in this county that would love to come in here, present themselves, and then you guys go, well, this one guy works, this guy doesn't, this one works, he doesn't work. And they might save this county some money, give you some opportunities to put some proposals together that make sense of what you're trying to target and what you're trying to accomplish. And all of a sudden, we don't have to hire a pro at $70,000 for 3 months. We could hire somebody $15, $20, $30, or $40,000 who come in here and probably has more expertise than what pro could provide us. Those individuals exist in this county and would love to help this county. And it would be a very smart thing for the taxpayers, be a very smart thing. You guys come up for re-election. This is what we did. We looked outside the box. We didn't go like every other county and spend money and well, we got a finance director. We're going to move her and her helper over here. And we got 2 positions. Now we're going to make 3 positions. Now we're going to spend not $80,000 a year or 90. We're going to spend $150,000, not including the computers, not including the table they're going to sit at, not including the health insurance. It's not just the salary, it's everything. And you're spending money that doesn't need to be spent. That is my proposal to you.
And
Look at the county and what we have to offer. Look at the individuals that voted you into office. See what if they can help you. Because none of you are expert. I'm not an expert in everything. None of you are experts in everything. But what I do in my business is I hire people that are better than me. And then together we make something work. That's what makes a good business and keeps people in business. Because in business, you don't have money to throw around. You can't just hire somebody to hire somebody. You've got to look outside the box and think, what can I do better to be more efficient and make more money for my company, to keep myself in business and take care of my clients. Your clients are us. That's my proposal.
in fact, that's what we've done. And that's a very good point, excellent point, because we have those experts. There's the most qualified accountant that we know was part of the team that helped to point out what the problems are we had with this audit. His name's Leno Regal. He has a consulting business, and he is more than happy to help do this partially volunteer or whatever. We need to talk to him, and we have in the past, and we've done that with several things.
We'll have Lynn do the technical stuff.
He can do it.
We'll have him.
Well, that's the point. That's what I was trying to point out earlier.
Okay, this is back and forth
Now,
now.
I don't want to start back and forth, but I'm
No.
saying.
I just point out that we agree.
Agree.
100%.
All right,
There's a lot of surprises here that we don't know about.
Well,
next.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right,
One more,
yes, sir.
Herb Covert. I'm gonna go back to the payroll thing. I just wanna put this out there. Making that payroll change, if you decide to do that midstream in an accounting year, is a royal pain.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you don't try to get on a payroll service by the start of your accounting year, which is January 1st, I believe, you're probably gonna be doing your own payroll for another year. And they can make that change very quickly. I mean, if you get a hold of somebody and you get your proposal, they can turn that around pretty quickly, but you know, time is of the essence if you want to make that happen. And second, this gentleman's comment about the experience out here. You know, I think you seriously think about putting together an advisory committee from volunteers, not just one person. And get a couple of different opinions on that committee to help you, even fact finding, you know, when you think about the organization, for the financial department. You have a few people that are sitting in this room, sitting at a table. We can actually go out and talk to counties and find out how they're organized, find out what kind of resources they use outside of the county organization. I mean, in business, it sounds like several of us have been in business. We did that constantly because being a small business, you can't do it all on your own, and you're constantly going out there finding solutions to make things work for a small business. And that's what the county is. It's essentially a small business, you know, on the verge of getting a little bit bigger. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sure.
Matt Erickson, I just wanted to add my voice and say thank you to all three commissioners for the hard work you do and for your thoughtful consideration of everything the public brings to you. I think it's pretty impressive, and I just want to say thanks.
You, Matt. You used up less than 15 seconds. You get a gold star.
Well, that's what I was gonna say about my 5 minutes worth.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, not seeing any hands online. So last call here in the room. That being the case, this meeting is adjourned at 2:31 p.m. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.